Good morning. We're going to finish up reading with one last little story. It's an informational text, and the title is called Home Sweet Home. You can find it on page, I'm just looking, 524 in your reading books. So I'll look down here, 524 in your reading books. And you can follow along with it on this video, or you can open up in your book and read it in your book and follow along. You can read it as many times as you want, play the video as many times as you want, but let's read this together. An informational text.
Social Studies in Reading. Genre: Informational text. Informational text often gives facts about real people, places, and events that reflect history or the traditions of communities. Informational text usually has one topic. Informational text may have captions and pictures. Read Home Sweet Home. Look for elements that make this an informational text.
Home Sweet Home by Almira Astudillo Guilles. Long ago, there were no freeways or telephones, shopping malls, or video games. Long ago, Native Americans were the only people in California. Native Americans made many different kinds of homes, using materials that were easy to find. In the north, there were forests and plenty of wood for houses. The Miwok, a group that lived in Central California, had houses shaped like cones. Other houses, like those of the Chumash people of the south, were round. To build these round houses, poles made from branches were poked in the ground in a circle.
Okay, and these are true tribes. These are true Native American tribes. So let's look at the next page, and you're going to see a picture right here. That's a Chumash hut, and you can see what it looks like. People lived in this many years ago. This was their home.
Chumash hut. These poles were bent at the top, and smaller branches were put around them. On the outside, pieces of bushes were added. A hole in the top let air inside. When it rained, the hole was covered with animal skin. Inside a Native American house, you might see grass mats on the floor. You might see money made of sea snail shells. You might find moccasins and clothes of animal skins. You might find a bow and arrow for hunting. For children, there might be dolls or spinning tops made of acorns. Families lived together in one village. Moccasins.
Let's think about: what shape were the homes of the Miwok? Informational text. Let's think about: why does the author tell what may be inside a Native American house? Informational text.
I'm going to go back here to this first page that we read. And it told you here, it says, the Miwok, or a group called the Central Californian, they lived in the Central Californian, had homes that were shaped like cones. So think about what a cone looks like. Cone could look like this. Their homes were shaped like a cone. Okay. And the next question was this: why does the author tell what may be inside a Native American house? He wants you to get an idea of what it was like to live in that house back then. Okay, so he's giving you more idea to really visualize, to help you visualize what it was like. And then here's another picture of moccasins. Moccasins are what they wore on their feet, and they were usually made out of animal skins. All right, let's turn to page 526.
Grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles all lived nearby. Villages could be small, with just a few families, or large, with many families. Each village had a chief, who could be a man or woman. Many Native Americans in California used acorns for food. Some groups, like the Wyandotte, lived far from the oak forests. They moved their homes into the forest when it was harvest time. Men shook the oak trees to make acorns fall. Women and children picked them up. The most important thing about a Native American home was the family inside it. Just like today, a home was a place to rest and spend time together. These houses were one big room. Families played games. Elders told stories. Adults talked about important events in the village. Native American men sometimes built a sweat house. The sweat house was a place men went to heal. Inside the sweat house, there was a fire pit with stones,
That kind of reminds me of
acorns.
to a sauna.
Let's think about what is the topic or the big idea of this paragraph. Informational text.
Okay, this paragraph right here. Okay, many Native Americans in California used acorns for food. They talked about acorns. That's the main thing, their food. What kind of food did they eat? They ate acorns. Look at the next one. In this paragraph, they're talking about the most important thing of a Native American home. And what was it? It said the family inside it, because they all lived together. They had the children, the parents, and the elderly. Could have been grandpa and grandma, great grandpa and grandma, but they each had a role in their families. Okay? In this paragraph here, they talk about a sweat house. The men of the village, if they were feeling ill, they would go to the sweat house. Okay? And like I said, I think a sweat house today would be a little bit like a sauna. All right, let's turn to the next page, 527.
With the fire burning, it became very hot inside. When the men became too sweaty, they ran outside and jumped into a cool creek. A sweat house is made this way. Step 1. Make a frame out of long pieces of wood. Step 2. Put branches across the frame. Step 3. Put thick shrubs on top of the branches. Step 4. Cover the roof with soil. The roof should be no more than 5 inches thick. Sweat house.
This is a picture.
Let's think about reading across texts. What do you learn about community leaders in both Home Sweet Home and Grace for President? Make a chart to record your ideas. Writing across texts. Use your chart to write a short paragraph. Draw a conclusion about who can be leaders. Base your ideas on the selections.
What did you learn when we read Grace for President? Did you find out that women and men both can be president? However, we've never had a woman president in the United States. Okay, when we read the story here, Home Sweet Home, they talked about a chief could be a woman or a man. Okay, and just like today in today's world, women can be presidents too. Women can be in charge of a lot of things just like a man can be. And back in the day, back when the Native Americans lived in their huts and their homes, their sod houses, many women were in charge of their communities because a lot of the men were out hunting and killing animals to bring back for food. Okay, so a lot of this has a little bit of how time was way back in the 1800s, even 1700s, to where we are at in 2020. I hope you enjoyed Home Sweet Home. Have a great Thursday. Okay. Bye-bye.